I got second-degree burns on my fingers. I think I said this before on podcast. I work at a barista stand, and so there was a line of cars. It was busy, and I'm like, "I'm okay with busy." I worked at Starbucks for 2 years. This is more like a mom and pop kinda thing. And so I was looking at the other cars to see if I knew the person, right? So I could start working on their drink. And I was using the hot water, but my brain, I wasn't looking, and the hot water overfilled, and then two of my fingers got second-degree burns on them because it, like, took me a second to feel the heat, and then I was like, "Fuck, what do I do?" And I dropped it, and then I went over and I put my hands in cold water, and I went to the doctor, and they're like, "Second-degree burns," and I'm like, "Oh, spaghetti-o." So, I was in pain. I'm not in pain anymore, it just has, like, it looks really funny. 200 to 250-degree water is pretty hot, in case you're wondering.
Did I tell you the story of the guy who came in and was trying to use the Bible to justify more pickles on a sandwich?
Wow!
So this guy walked in with his service dog, stuff like a military veteran,
Mhm.
and he went up to the counter, and the first thing he said was, "You know what time the president is supposed to speak today? I think he's supposed to speak at 8 p.m. Eastern, but I didn't see anything on TV, so I don't know. Do you know?" And I was like, "Okay, I have no idea what's going on right now. I haven't heard anything, sir. I didn't even know he was speaking." And he was like, "Oh, all right. I'll figure it out later." And I took his order and stuff. And since he has a service dog, he asked if I can bring his drink to his table because he wants to, to have the service dog in both of his hands for some reason. At the place where I work, the lids are next to the cashiers. So you put the lid on your own drink. We don't give you a lid. And so he didn't grab a lid and put it on his drink. So I thought he didn't want a lid. So I carried it over and put it on his table without a lid. About 5 minutes later, he comes back asking for a refill of his drink. And he's like, "And this time put a lid on it." It's like, "Buddy, it ain't our responsibility that you do not see the lids. I'm sorry." About 10 more minutes goes by. We give him his food. He eats his food, eats his fries, all that stuff. And then he leaves. And before he leaves, he wants to talk to our manager. But none of our managers are working that night. So our shift lead takes the place of one of the managers. And he goes and says, "Can I have a handful of pickles?" So the shift lead's very confused, but goes and gets a handful of pickles and gives this to him. Then, mind you, he ate his food and asked for pickles. He's like, "You guys are a Christian company, and Christians are supposed to be the stewards of God's earth. And how could you be stewards of God's earth if you only give a man 2 pickles on his sandwich?" So he ordered his food. He sat down, looked at how many pickles there were on his sandwich, ate his sandwich, and then went and asked for more pickles. At any point in time when he was ordering, when he got his food, when he was eating his food, he could have gotten up and did what he did at the end and asked for more pickles. But instead he decided to quote the Bible to justify getting more pickles.
You should have given him more pickles, bro. That's on you. How dare you not be able to see the future?
I should have read his mind. Read his mind, already given him pickles. Alright, there's work stories for the day. So we haven't covered the Mariners in a fat second.
Ice skating is on my mind, so I need to talk about ice skating drama.
Okay, but let's talk about the Mariners first, because I know you're not gonna talk about drama for 2 minutes.
Well, I'll do 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
No, Mariners first. Mariners first.
SMH. Okay.
Okay, so in Mariners land, the Mariners are now entered to hell and back. Kelnick is back for the third time this year,
He's cracked!
and he is correct. September Kelnick. September Kelnick is unbeatable. Julio's on the IL. Suarez is on the IL. Cal Raleigh has a broken thumb. Our pitchers don't know how to pitch. We lost 7 of our last 10. The wild card race is still somehow close because all of the teams have been sucking equally as badly lately, if that sentence makes any sense, which is amazing. So even though the Mariners have been sucking, we still are in place to snatch the first wild card spot. The epitome of how bad we've been sucking came today when we blew a 9-run lead in the span of 1 inning.
I was working and I didn't see it. So one of my talking points at work is everyone's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go watch the Hawks game," and I'm like, "I'm not a Hawks game, but I'm a good Mariners fan. I love the M's. We're doing the playoffs this year. It's great because we've got such good pitching this year. Their pitching's fantastic." I've said that probably like 9 times today.
What amazes me is that we can protect 1 run leads, but we can't protect 9.
Who was the pitcher?
It was Castillo,
Closer or opener?
opener.
Oh, really?
So he was in for 5 innings, and then they took him out. So it was the bottom of the 6th, and so they send out Fiesta to pitch because, we have the best bowler in the league and whatever. And so he gets an out, but then he walks like 4 people. So they score a run through like an RBI and a walk. So they throw in Brash. Brash throws a pitch which hits Cal Raleigh's broken thumb, which doesn't help it heal.
What? Oh my god, boy.
It was such a good pitch too, but Cal Raleigh just kind of catched it wrong and it hit it in the wrong spot, so he had to get pulled out of the game. So Torrens replaced Raleigh. And then Brash allowed a bunch of runs. And so they threw in Murphy, and Murphy was finally able to close the inning after they scored a few more runs against him. And we could never regain the lead. So the final score was 13-11 or 13-12. Let me just make sure.
It's kind of funny. So now it's the flop at the beginning of the season. Our offense is good, but our pitching sucks.
Yep. Actually, both of them suck during this road trip. This road trip is forgettable. Luckily, everybody else sucked too. So
So we're actually staying in the playoff race. That's quite good. I'm glad that Kelly's back. It took 4 times, but he's here.
I feel like he should just stay in AAA until September.
Yeah, literally. He's just a September boy. That's it.
The magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 6.
6.
It's almost a 5. It's like we are going to the playoffs this year, 100%.
Yeah. And then we are going to the playoffs. Are you going to talk about us going to the playoffs?
No, because I'm still embarrassed about my decisions.
Duh.
I'm gonna say this is a learning opportunity. So we wanted to go, as I said in a few podcast episodes ago, we wanted to go to the 3rd playoff game in the wildcard series on the 9th if Seattle hosts. So we were like, okay, we should go and see if there's any tickets available to buy because,
Say we. You're the one who found it.
fine. But you backed me up. You never said, oh, that look.
Well, I'm a bozo, okay?
Okay, fine. Okay, I went and was like, okay, the tickets might be running out soon because if you're a Mariners fan, you never think about buying postseason tickets because they never make it. So I was like, okay, I'll go check in the pretty sure they released them early September. So I'll go and see if there's any left or whatever and what the price is. So I was like, okay, I go to StubHub and I see that like, okay, the game we want to go to price like minimum price is $300. And I was like, okay, that's expensive, but it makes sense. So I go to the MLB website because in StubHub it says refer to the MLB terms and conditions for playoff games because we're going to basically copy paste that. So I go there and it's like, okay, go to the Mariners and it's like, if the game doesn't happen, we'll refund you, obviously, and stuff like that. I read through all that and I was like, okay, makes sense. What? And I was like, okay, how come I can't order playoff ticket games off the website? And my brain rationalized it being like, oh, they must have all sold out. So I can only buy secondhand tickets, like an idiot. And so I go back to StubHub and I text you and I'm like, okay, the ticket prices is like $300. Do we want to do this still? And we were like, yeah, it's once in a lifetime first playoff game in like 20 years or whatever. We're gonna 100% do it. So like we get all the money together, we transfer all the money, give each other the funds needed, and I go and I buy the tickets off of StubHub. And then your dad is like, what the fuck? Why? You're stupid, bro. What did you idiot? They don't release them until late September, and I'm like, what? That would explain why they don't show up on the Mariners website. It's not because they're sold out. It's because they don't exist yet. An idiot. Luckily, StubHub has a fully 100% money back guarantee if the game doesn't happen. So it's not like I got scammed. I'm still gonna get my money back if the game doesn't happen. And if the person is lying and they don't give us the tickets, since it's a secondhand retail market, then they're going to give us tickets that are 120% our value, which if we win means we're going to the divisional playoff series. Just saying. getting work off is gonna be pain because it's playoffs contingent. But whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Luckily, I'm not gonna lose $1,000 because like a $150 fee and stuff. So long story short, I was stupid when buying tickets because I'm an idiot and can't read fine print.
Honestly, well, I'm really good at impulse buys. I realized in these past 2 years of having disposable income. So I find it funny that I'm not the only one, and it kind of makes me happy a little bit. So once, I mean, it wasn't an impulse buy. Yeah, it was an impulse buy. So it was the end of the first calculus 1 exam. So in all my other math exams, my brain was like, "Oh, you don't need to study. It's math. Why would you need to study for math?" Right? And so then that calculus 1 exam kicked my ass. I was like, I didn't have any friends in the class, and so I hit a wall. I was like, "What the fuck do I do?" And so I was like, "Alright, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy Mother tickets." But the thing is, Mother, it was literally like 3 weeks away, right? And so then I had to buy off a second site thing. It was like $400 for the tickets. Yeah, no, no. Okay, so I did that, and then another time I tried to get Mother tickets again, and it was in Canada. But this was like still the middle of COVID, right? And I couldn't get over to Canada because of the border and the mess with the border. And then I emailed the ticket people. I'm like, look, I'm dumb. I wanted to get these tickets, but I can't go over to Canada. And they're like, okay, try to sell them on eBay. Just flip them if you can. And I couldn't flip them, and so I lost like $100. Me and concert tickets do not mix. And then I tried to go to AJR, but I got a concussion. This was the day before the Calculus 3 final. I got a concussion. I hit my head on the ice. And then I tried to go to Girl in Red, but then she got COVID. So I literally went down to Seattle. She put on her Instagram story literally 20 minutes before she was about to be on stage. So I was down in Seattle with me and my friend Mars, and we're like, what the fuck do we do now? So I have not been to a concert since I was like 7, and I've bought 3 different concert tickets, and they've all flopped. So apparently me buying tickets now as an adult just doesn't work. So next time I buy tickets or anybody around me buys tickets with me, I need at least like 24 hours before it's like set in stone that I'm doing the right thing. So another thing about how tickets. So we were gonna go see Winker, right? There was a Winker signing around where we live, but my big ass brain triple booked myself. I had never triple booked myself before. So I was gonna help volunteer at my rink. I had a mandatory work meeting, and then I had this Winker thing. And this mandatory work meeting thing, it was like if you don't go, you're fired kind of thing. And I kind of like having a job, not gonna lie. So I couldn't do the skating thing. And then I had to do the mandatory work meeting. And I spent money on the fucking tickets so I could see Winker. But it was during the time I was hoping to clip the end of the Winker signing because it was like 6:30 to like 8:30 or something. My meeting was at 6:30. It was at 6 to like supposed to be like 7, but was late, and then it was just kept talking and talking and all that jazz, and I missed it. I missed the Winker signing. Through the whole program that we went through, emailed me and was like, "You bought a ticket, but you didn't get anything. Do you want like a signed autograph? Do you want like a signed photo?" Right? Of Winker, and I was like, yes, but I'm a heathen and have been really busy and haven't picked it up yet. So it's still at the store as we speak. How's your experience with meeting Winker?
Okay, so my experience is that I bought the ticket. Like I kept procrastinating on buying the ticket because you tend to bail out on stuff. No offense.
Hey.
So I waited until you bought the ticket, and so that way I would buy the ticket. And so we both bought the tickets at the same time, and we are like, okay, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna show up at your house at blah 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 time, and then we're gonna drive together and carpool down to the place because it's gonna be packed because Mariners player. I bought the tickets and we set the plan in motion, and then you tell me the day of, like, oh, by the way, I triple booked myself, so I'm not gonna be able to make it until very very late because that's how you inform people of what's happening the day of. I'm being very passive aggressive, aren't I?
Yes.
Okay, so I texted you back being like, "Okay, I'm still gonna show up when it opens because I could save our spot in line because we didn't know how many people were gonna be there." So I was like, "Okay, I'll save our spot in line, and you can just join me at the line whenever you get there because I expect it to be super long." So I show up at the time it starts, at like 6:30 or whatever, and the parking lot's full as expected. So I park at the nearby gym and then walk like a block and a half to the place. And then I stand in line and I'm like, "Okay, how do I get my tickets? Because I need to verify that I get it." And then the dude just came and I was like, "Oh, here are your tickets. What's your name? Blah, here's the tickets." And so I keep waiting in line and I go through the thing and I reach Winker. And after looking at all the stuff in the store, of course, because it's an autograph memorabilia store. And I'm like, "Okay, it's Winker." And I take out the baseball I got, and I'm like, "Okay, can you sign this, like, underneath the logo?" And he's like, "Sure." And then I go over to the side because I wanna put it in the case that I bought for it, so that you know that it doesn't get smeared. And I couldn't figure out how to open it. It turns out you just slide the thing in half.
Bozo.
I know. I thought you just slide, like, one panel, and then you put the ball in, and then you close the panel, but you just rip it in half. That's how you open it. And then afterwards, I realized, "Oh, I didn't get a photo with him." So I go back and I get 2 really crappy photos with him, and then he gets up and leaves because I was the last person in line. I'm like, I'm so confused, like, "Wait, I thought this was supposed to go until 8:30. It's 7:15." And I'm like, "Yo, are you leaving?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm leaving. I have other places to go, and there's nobody else in line." And I'm like, "Oh, crap. Sit here." So I try to frantically call you to be like, "Yo, you need to get here now because he's leaving and blah, 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 blah." And then you never pick up, and I'm like, "Oh, well." And so I leave the building to call you, and then I come back inside, and because I want to keep looking around and stuff. And then the it was manager of the store was like, "Can I help you?" Like, in a really passive aggressive tone as he was doing, like, the bookkeeping for the day, like, the till and stuff. And so I just kinda left. I was like, "Oh, I'm just waiting for my friend," and then I left, like, the most suspicious thing to ever say ever. And then I walk back to my car and I start leaving, and then you call me as I was just, like, halfway home being like, "Oh, I was at work," and then I was like, "It's over." And you were like, "What? It was supposed to go until 8:30. It's only 7, like, 30. What the there's still an hour left." I'm like, "It's over, he left." And then you're all sad, and then I got home, and then I showed my mom the thing, and then, the saddest part is that in the photo that I got with him, I forgot to take off my Seahawks sweatshirt because I was wearing a Mariners jersey underneath that I was planning to wear for the photo, and I never took off my sweatshirt. So in the photo I have, it's just me with a Seahawks sweatshirt on because I'm smart.
Bozo.
I know.
Time for figure skating. My music cutting guy just sent me the music cut. So my next program I'm skating to is to Mama by MCR. So I just skated to something from Steven Universe and now I'm skating to MCR. I am the queen of contrast. Thank you very much. I'm very excited. I'm thinking of wearing like a black dress or something, but not like a cool black dress, like a really girly one. I'm thinking of doing like a simplistic, just like almost like a leotard dress, like no gems or anything. So it's just chaos, you know? Because that'll be cool because like the song is really upbeat and crazy. Or I might do like a crazy costume, like a Halloween costume because it's my Halloween expo, but I don't know. You don't know the beginning to that story? Sucks to suck. Ah, I just spilled water on my surface. Oh, fuck. And all my math homework. So, what's up?
Today is a great day.
Yeah, at work, it was also bad too. Okay, I'm gonna actually get a towel because I've been using a blanket to clean my mess. So, 1 second.
Good idea.
Well, we'll start with me skating and then like skating. So, I won my first ever competition. Woo! Oh, I didn't even know I was competing against somebody. So, I compete in a pre-preliminary showcase. And I went against, since there's nobody else on my level, I went against somebody no test showcase, which is technically lower than mine, and I won. But like, I still won a competition, so that's pretty PogChamp girl boss of me. But anyway, Russian test case. So I don't know where the fuck Anna Shirvakova is. I have no idea where she is. So my last episode, I talked about the all of the drama with the figure skaters and the gold medal winner Anna Shirvakova, nowhere to be seen. She is not on the figure skating map. So I talked about it a little bit last time. Because of the war with Ukraine, Russia is kicked out of competition, international competitions with everybody else. So they're making their own little competitions. And every single year, Russia does Russian test skates. So figure skating is really, really big in Russia. Like, it's kind of like almost equivalent to football here. You know, it's one of their biggest sports. And a way to make more money is they just have it's not a competition or anything, it's just everybody shows off their new programs for the year. Usually, it's not that big of a deal, nobody really wears dresses. Well, sometimes people wear dresses. It's just a thing to see what are the themes for the programs, what kind of jumps are going on. Because it's a big deal to have to switch programs because everything changes, and the jumps you do sometimes are different, the combo spins are sometimes different and everything. So the scoring is different and all that jazz. And usually it's not that big of a deal, but because since Russia is kicked out of competitions, everybody's making it a really big deal. Like they made it a whole big show, and it wasn't that many girls. I'm actually gonna pull up the list of who it was right now because usually it's like 20 girls, but I think it's like only 7 or something. Okay, we're only going to talk about women because that's all that really matters in Russia. Well, I mean, you do have ice dance, and but I don't really in pairs, but I don't really listen either. Okay, so we have Alexandra Trusova, Kamila Valieva, Sophia. I don't know how to say her last name. Sophia. I don't know how to say her last name. I don't know these two other people, and then Elizaveta Tushimisheva. So usually in Russia, there's like 15 girls who usually do Russian test case, but it's not. But you see, these are the big names. Except we don't have Aliana Kosternaya or Anna Shirvakova. Anna Shirvakova won fucking gold last year. Where is she? What's going on? Is she not competing? I don't know. So the whole thing about Russia and the war with Ukraine and then television. So Russian competitions have always been hard to stream over here in America because you have to have so many different streaming rights and everything. So sometimes Russia streams it on YouTube so we can watch it, but they didn't. So the only way that we can get clips of it is we have it cut from Russia television that's changed into I think German, then that's changed into not German. I don't know, but it's translated like 3 different times and then it's cut from this clip to that clip to put on YouTube. It's a whole thing. But as of right now, we have the videos of Kamila Valieva's programs and then Anna Shirvakova's programs. We'll obviously get the others later. But the biggest thing is Kamila Valieva's long program. The whole thing of Kamila Valieva's long program, the theme is the doping scandal and everything. And her fucking ending pose, so she has this little like bit of cloth that's tied to her dress. Her ending pose is having that cloth around her face. It's so Terry literally ruined this girl's life and the end of her program makes her cover her face, makes her ashamed, shows her to be ashamed for what Terry fucking did and forced upon her. It's ah. So that happened and everything. Camila's short program and long program, I'm here for it. Some of them you can tell it's the beginning of the season. They're not totally performed all the way out, but there was that one scene in her long program where she had that really, really good choreographic moment. That was dope. I'm really excited to see how that'll progress. And then her jumps are back to normal, back to consistency. Her beautiful landings, flawless. So it'll be really interesting with that and also with the other figure skating without the Russians. I have been really, really busy, so I have not. I know the some Grand Prix assignments have been going on. I haven't been looking at that. But Ilya Malinin, he did a quad axel. He did it. He's the first person to ever land a quad axel in competition. Yuzuru Hanyu had been trying for years and years and years to try to get this quad axel, but Ilya Malinin did it. It was one of the like lower level competitions and everything, but it doesn't matter. It's done and done. It's here. I'm very excited to see if Ilya can continue with this quad axle being consistent and make the land-ins prettier. And I'm wondering how hot if he well, he can probably break the world record for the short program. I wonder who has the world record right now. It's either Yuzuru or Nathan. I feel like for the short it would be Yuzuru because he's better at there's not as many jumps in the short, and I feel like the long would be Nathan. But Don't mark me on that. I'm not gonna fact check myself because I don't have time for that. I don't really care that much. um. Anyway, so back to the Atari nonsense. Somebody tried to burn down Temple 70. Temple 70 is where Atari practices. It's the rink. Somebody literally tried to fucking burn down the Atari rink.
Nothing like a little bit of arson.
Yeah, I like arson is really PogChamp, but because it's one thing if you want to be rude and like burn Atari's house down, like yeah, that's fucked up, but it's just her being hurt. So all of these girls are in Temple 70, you know? So you'd be hurting them too. They're the ones being preyed upon and everything. So you'd hurt all of that and everything. But also arson is not is it's good and all, but it's not good. Oh, also I there was a big documentary in I believe France about how there was an ice dance figure skater who she opens up about mental health and everything, and how figure skating is really fucked up on the brain and it's terrible. And it's all about for girls looking perfect. And for guys, it's just strong. So there's no English version of it. So it's literally translated from French to Russian, from Russian to English, all of the translations and everything we have. So it's interesting because she opens up about a lot. She opens even up apparently during 2020. Wait, which one? Yeah, 2020 season. She literally had an abortion and still had to fight and keep skating. And her coaches and everything were literally just like, okay, you have, so what? Just deal with it. Just go, keep skating. Nothing happened at all. And that was terrible. And then also, they just it's kinda like a Terry, because everybody says that a Terry is so bad for feeding, kids nothing and, micromanaging every minute of their life, but that's going on everywhere. It's going on all over the world. It's not just Russia. It's just Russia since they get results from it. That's why they're getting so highlighted and everything. Like there's even some bits of that happening here in America. Since figure skating is so small scale here and not many people really care about it unless you are a skater or you have friends that force you into figure skating, you don't really care that much about it. So figure skating is definitely a fucked up sport and it's trying to get fixed and people are trying to make more documentaries about it, but it'll still take forever. And also figure skating is getting less relevant. You know, like especially with Nathan Chen gone now and Yuzuru Hanyu gone, it's gonna definitely be hard to keep it relevant, to keep people want to watch the sport, want to be even a part of the sport, you know? It's kind of a dying breed. So, all y'all baseball fans who are listening to this rant about ice skating, go watch an ice skating competition or go do something. I don't know.
It costs $10 to go ice skating.
That's it. It's only $10. That's nothing.
It adds up quickly.
You telling me, sir? You telling me? Well, I mean, if you just do it once, help your rink around there, and then you fall in love with it, and you're like, wait a minute, ice skating is actually really fun. You get to glide. There's nothing like it. Frictionless surface? What is that?
It is very fun. The only problem is I spend 99% of my time on the ground.
And you're great, and I appreciate you a lot, but you need to learn how to ice skate.
No.
I gotta take you skating again and then teach you how to do it better.
You just kind of were like, "Oh, just hug the wall," and then you just kinda left me to my own devices.
Well, okay, so we were in a group of like 7 people when we went ice skating. And as the one person who knows how to ice skate, and 7 different people are asking me to teach them things and teach them how to skate, it was kind of overwhelming. I didn't do very good. I tried my best to give everybody a little bit of time to help teach things, but I didn't. So we will definitely have to go skating again. 100%. And then I'll actually teach you how to skate now. I've been teaching learn to skate. So I teach like young kids how to skate. So I'll definitely be able to teach you how to skate. You're gonna be taught like you're a young kid.
That's fine. I mean, that's probably the only way I can understand it because I'm not athletic. Now, if you pay attention to all the Hallmark movies my grandma watches, if I learn how to ice skate, that means I'll 100% get the girl because that's always the first date they go on. Or is it I need to not know how to ice skate, so that way the girl can teach me how to ice skate, and then they fall in love instead of falling in love with the police officer. I forgot. I have like, they're all the same.
What? Boy, what? Well, ice skating dates are awesome, so you definitely need to do that because it's like, "Oh, they fell over. Uh-oh, here, how about you hold my hand? Oh, no, we're holding hands now," you know?
It's so smooth.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the, "Oh, I'm falling, catch me,"
Oh,
you know? And then for me, I get to show off.
hold yeah, you can just be like, "Hold my hand, just don't move your legs," and then you could take them on like, like Aladdin. Aladdin, but on ice.
Exactly. No, but also I get to show off because on video, everything, it looks not that hard, but then when you get on the ice and try to move forward, you're like, "Wait, what the fuck? She can, like, do 2 rotations on this? What the fuck?" You know?
I watched a lot of hockey before we went, so when I went, I was like, "Okay, I watched a lot of hockey. Let me just copy what they do on TV." And then I do that, and I immediately fell on my face.
It's a lot. It's definitely a lot.
It didn't help that apparently I tied my shoes wrong.
You did?
Yeah, like, I tied them, and then you checked, and you was like, "Okay, they look fine." And then, like, an hour later, you looked at my shoes, and you're like, "Who tied these? Was it I tied them? No, I tied them." And then you're like, "Let me retie them."
Yeah. It's a craft to learning how to tie skates, right? It's a whole thing. You need to be put in figure skates next. You had hockey skates, didn't you?
Whatever they gave me for $10.
Oh my gosh.
Probably hockey skates. I think they were hockey skates.
I have a video of you falling on your butt.
Yo, wait, you need to send me that video.
I like to video things because I have a shit memory.
Your memory is super fragile and is garbage, and a video doesn't lie, so well, a video can lie, but if you leave the video unaltered, it doesn't lie.
Yeah, you have hockey skates on.
I remember something though. I said I was gonna talk about football whenever football season starts.
Oh, I don't know football. You can talk about football if you want.
Okay, so my thing about football is that, there's nothing interesting going on right now that I care about. That's my football talk for the week. Alright.
Okay, that's fair.
It's too early in the season to have important stuff happening. And the last few I don't know if I'm being conditioned because the last few years, like 2019 to 2021, were so eventful in football in terms of scandals and drama on and off the field that the stuff that's happening now, which is mundane by those standards, I just don't care about, when other years it might be really important. But yeah, nothing really interesting happened so far. The only thing that interesting that happened is a really weird score where today the Broncos beat the 49ers 11 to 10. And in football, in order to get 11 as a score, you need to score a safety. There's no other way to do it except to score a safety, which is tackling somebody in your own end zone. So that's super impressive, and it's only the second time it's ever happened in NFL history that an 11 to 10 final score has occurred. That's all I have though. Like later in the season, as stuff becomes more interesting, I'll probably have more to talk about. But right now, not really much.
Adios, muchachos. See you next time.